Hello and welcome to the economic analysis for 14 January. So first of all, I would like to wish you all a very happy Makar Sankranti. So let me tell you what Makar Sankranti is. See, it is a festival day in Hindu calendar which is dedicated to Surya God, means sun god, and it is observed every year in month of Magh, or which correspond to the month of January, and it means Makar means the entry of sun's transit into Makar Rashi or Capricorn Rashi. So now that we have understood what Makar Sankranti is, let's start with the analysis of today's economic times. So the first news which I've kept is about the WhatsApp new privacy policy. See, few days back, 2 or 3 days back, we all must have received a message in which uh, WhatsApp was asking to share our information with Facebook, since they acquired Facebook years back in around $19 billion. So now this is questioning the privacy of the WhatsApp user, since all the data will be shared with Facebook. So you please comment and tell me that what you feel about this privacy policy being breached by WhatsApp. So these two news I have taken from this perspective only. WhatsApp's new privacy policy is very confusing. So this is what some people from Signal app are saying. So Signal app, let me tell you a little about Signal app. So this is a app which is being founded by Signal company, and it's the substitute to the WhatsApp policy, WhatsApp app, so that since it is breaching the privacy, so they have also developed a new app, and now Signal app is beating WhatsApp, Facebook and Insta, the downloads, and Signal app is growing stronger in India with more and more download, and around 3.3 million Signal apps were downloaded between January 5 to January 11. So this is the hot news which is coming today. This messaging app beats WhatsApp in weekly downloads after the latest new data policy that allows sharing more data with parent Facebook. I mean, since the WhatsApp is sharing data with Facebook, so there is somewhat fears in the mind of people that WhatsApp will be breaching the privacy policy and of people. As a normal WhatsApp user, what we have to interpret from this is it's not only about the chats and messages. Many transactions are also taking place with the WhatsApp UPI, and we buy things, and I mean the whole life is tracked around Facebook and WhatsApp. So why do you guys, and why we have to give all that access to WhatsApp? So it's not a something. Very smart to do it. So that's why a new promising app like Signal is coming. So I would reckon you all people to think about it, and decide whether you allow your privacy policy to be shared with the WhatsApp or any kind of third party app. So on moving to the next news, the next news I have kept is uh, Tata, about Tata Group. So it has resurgent that Tata is most valued group again. There is now here some of the stock price of Tata Group is given. So Tata ELXI LTP rate is this much, and first month is this much. So Tata Consumer, Tata Power Company, Tata Consultancy Services (TCS). So these all stocks are discussed here, and some of the business house like HDFC, Reliance Industries are compared. Tata Group has retained the topmost position in most valuable business conglomerate in India. So, with a total market capitalization of around 17 lakh crores on Wednesday yesterday, followed by HDFC Group. So, if someone asks you which is the most valued group in India, you can say that it is Tata Group around, for a valuation around 17 lakh crore. And after that, HDFC, then Reliance Industries, then Bajaj, then ICICI. So, keep have an idea in mind regarding the valuation of group of private sector in India. With in this news, you will also see that the shares of TCS has also surged to for 13% compared to the 7.4 percent gain in Nifty. So this is the news about Tata Group. So coming to the next news, it's the next news is about Bharti Airtel stock, which surges or not for higher FPI norms. FPI is foreign portfolio investment. So guys, let me tell you about a little difference about FPI and FDI. See, FDI is foreign direct investment, and FPI is foreign portfolio investment. So what is the difference between two? See, a foreign direct investment is an investment made by a firm or individual in one country into business interest located in another country. While a foreign portfolio investment is instead refers to the investment made in securities and financial assets issued in other country. Meaning, FPI is investment in shares of the company. So, since Bharti Airtel has firmed up company has confirmed 100% stock investment in FPI, then at least of around $600 million of inflow into stock is likely to come. So that's why the stock surged and the price rose to 578 per share, which was earlier 415.35 in October 2020, and now in January it has raised to 578. So guys, you can see that the difference, see, when we study in our classes the macroeconomic effect and the microeconomic effect, so these are the effect on shares. Like if the foreign portfolio investment is made up to 100%, the share value increased to for around more than 100 rupees of Bharti Airtel. So this was the news which I kept so that you guys can relate I mean the change in macro and microeconomics to the share market. So that's why I kept this news. So the next news is related to Infosys Wipro. So in this news, the Infosys clocks fastest growth in 8 years with the 5.3 increase in revenue for the quarter subsequently, and profit grows to around 16.6% in quarter 3, with the forecast of 4 to 5% for financial year 21. So see, these all are the effect of lockdown and effect of reliance of the economy on e-portal or internet portal. So that's why these companies like Infosys, Wipro, and these TCS are showing high growth of around 4 to 5% with respect to the projections which were kept at 2 to 3%. So these graph shows the growth. So TCS growth is shown. So now Wipro. So these all companies are showing higher profit visibility for stocks, etc., and higher valuation due to the mm, uh, improvement and greater use of e-commerce and internet in the business environment. So that's why I kept this news. So coming to the next news. See, yesterday I kept a news of around of inflation. Like inflation is not very much going. Not the prices are not increasing. Like the CPI is not increasing. So so it's a basic principle policy of RBI that if the if the inflation is not rising, they have to cut the interest rate of in the market in order to increase the influx of money. But RBI is now not increasing despite the sharp fall in inflation. So can you guys tell me that why they are doing so in the comment section? And after analyzing different parameters of the economy, and a decrease in inflation to a 14-month low. I mean, in the past for 14 months, we are seeing the least inflation. In other words, the goods are least mehenga or expensive in the past 14 months. So the CPI has come to 4.9 in December, and more than market estimated compared to 6.49, meaning they were estimating the CPI to be 6.93, but it has come to only 4.59. So this gave a room for RBI to increase cut the rates, but still, in spite of them, they are not increasing. They are not decreasing the repo rate. I mean, if you guys want a video on repo rate, what is repo rate, how RBI regulates the inflation in the country, I can make do it so. But if you guys understand, then please comment. Then tell me that why it's they are not decreasing the rates of interest. The central bank always focus on calibrated liquidity normalization to cut the price risk. So let's see how it happens. The shelf life of ultra accommodative monetary policy fast expiring, and debate has shifted to taper without disruption. So these all thing is related to the inflation and repo rate of RBI. So just tell me why these guys are not decreasing the rates. So let us go to the next news. Now the next news which is coming into the market is, see, there in the past COVID times, there in the market it's been seen that the increased popularity of e-learning apps, since the colleges and the schools are not being opening, and there is a fast transition of learning platform into e-learning platform. And in this news we can say that Unacademy is logging around $50 million of secondary shared sales. So you can see that how fast these e-learning apps are expanding today. So that's why RBI group has is looking to regulate these e-learning apps via other applications. So a working group of up to 6 members is being formed to regulate, and it's asked to suggest the regulatory and statutory parameters to address the issue. The key risk poses unregulated lending apps is unethical collection of practices, high interest rate, and fraud and data risk. So now RBI is coming into the picture that how to regulate these e-learning app, and it is chaired by Jayant Kumar Das, which has four central bank officials, all six-membered group. So let's see how they formulate and how they regulate the e-learning apps. So um, I think we must let me see.